What is up, my friends? My name is Echotrumi, and I'm here today with TT from Elite Gaming, and he's going to be showing us how he just got a 6-pack in a CWL war versus Reddit Omega using BoWitch. You may remember TT from back in the past on my channel. I've probably had 15 to 20 BoWitch videos featuring TT's attacks. He and I were clanmates over in Bada Bing Clan, but now he's over here in Elite Gaming and doing what he does best for those guys over there. TT, how are you today, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy to have you back on and excited to see how you grabbed 6 stars in this war. CWL war is no joke. Why don't you tell us what went on here?
All right. Well, this is a CWL invite war, and we were facing off against Reddit Omega. They won, and one of the better teams in the world, really, in terms of war matches.
What was their record again? I think you cut out on me.
They are currently 8-1. They have tied for the best record in all of CWL invite.
Wow.
Which is the highest league you can be in for CWL, and has very quality base builders and some of the hardest bases to hit. So
your BoWitch is going to be getting it done. Why don't you fill us in on what you saw on this base and how you hit it?
So yeah, all of the skeptics say that BoWitch isn't a very good triple strategy for 10v10, and you know, for me, it's all about base selection. And at this level, it's even harder to find bases that'll work. But generally, I'm looking for the same thing every time, every war, for a base that I can Archer Queen Walk BoWitch. Okay. For this base, I'm going to enter in between those 2 mortars, jumping into the first Inferno. And with just a second jump, I can get to the second Inferno compartment. So that's really the main thing to look for, is being able to access both Infernos, if possible, with just 2 jumps. And I found a lot more success throwing in an Archer Queen Walk with my BoWitch attacks. So another thing that I look out for is to find, you know, which side of the flank the Archer Queen can do her walk so that the healers don't get hit by ADs.
Right.
So for this base, my Queen is going to be walking from 3 to 12. And as you see, all of the ADs are stacked on the other side.
Right.
So she will, you know, do her thing, and the healers will stay up, and the Queen, you know, generally will stay alive for my entire raid, which is kind of the point for the base that I'm picking. Yeah,
good value.
And then on the opposite flank, you generally want to avoid wizard towers, bomb towers, splash defense, possible giant bomb locations. This hit was actually fresh. We didn't have a scout for it, but generally at this level, there are certain things to look out for to know when there's a giant bomb outside, and there's kind of bad strategies when using giant bombs outside, so you know where they're not, kind of thing.
Okay.
So on the left flank between those 2 cannons, that would be a really bad spot for my strategy if there was a giant bomb there. But that giant bomb is very easily triggered by a giant or even a wall breaker. There's no defense to distract it. So I can pretty much guarantee that there's not going to be a giant bomb there.
Okay.
So like I said, it's a fresh hit, something to look out for if you're, you know, doing fresh hits and you don't have a scout, you don't know where giant bombs are. If there's not an outside defense there, generally speaking, there shouldn't be a giant bomb there, because there's nothing to distract a giant from just tanking the giant bomb.
All right, so that's a little bit of a pro tip on base building as well, something that maybe people don't even think about, to be honest.
Right. And, you know, generally speaking, most war hits aren't fresh hits, especially if you're going for, you know, 3-star attacks. So if you're going to be putting giant bombs on the outside and there's nothing for, you know, to distract a wall breaker or to distract a giant, then you're basically just wasting your giant bomb. So I know that they know that. So, you know, it's kind of a, you know, chicken and egg kind of thing. So I know that they wouldn't put it there, so I know that it's not there kind of thing. So
okay, why don't we jump into this attack? You ready to roll?
Ready to roll, yeah.
All right, let's play in 3, 2, 1, and play.
All right, so this one I'm starting off with a couple of minions on the outside. I wanted to get that elixir storage there, so that when I drop my witches, they will ensure that they go to the outside. Same with the second minion. That's to ensure that the queen goes to the outside. It also helps to really kind of create a little bit more narrower funnel for the bowlers once I eventually drop the kill squad.
Okay.
So that once that's down, I actually almost always start with my archer queen on the outside first, followed by my witches and bowlers on the opposite funnel. Every once in a while I'll start with witches, but it depends on a few different things that are really small intricacies that usually, you know, aren't too important. I'm a big fan of just using one golem. I guess there's arguments for more than one, but pretty rarely do I ever have a situation where my golem's dead and because of that my bowlers are getting killed. My golems usually always out-survive my bowlers, so I don't see any need to take more than one golem personally. So this one had a golem CC, which is brand new with the new update, level 7. And for a lot of attack strategies, that is going to cause a pretty big problem because of how much longer it takes to get down and because of the damage that it causes when it breaks. But for my bowlers, they kind of just sit there and tank on the golem for a while, and they're inside of a heal. So it's not really a huge issue for this strategy. You know, if you're using miners or even kind of a queen charge and she has to take out the golem herself,
right?
You know, the heavier weighted golem is definitely a big problem. But for this strategy specifically, since my bowlers are just camping in the heal, not an issue.
Yeah, in the heal under rage, they pretty much tore that golem up. It was impressive.
Yeah, that base got wrecked really fast. I didn't get to talk much about it, but so anyway, my witches and my bowlers on the outside, I wanted them to kind of distract the king. There's so many skeletons, and that's what they did do. So that was, I don't know if it was lucky. The king could have gone to the middle, could have gone the outside. Either way, I don't think it mattered. But
right.
I wasn't too concerned about the king over there with that funnel because the skeletons are going to take care of it. There was no mortars on the left side, so there's no splash damage to kill all the skeletons really fast. So they all like survived for a long time, which was really helpful. Just the way the compartments were on this base was very predictable in terms of where my troops were going to go and how they were going to get through. If you notice, once my kill squad got in the middle, I think I had like 18 of my 18 bowlers still alive under rage with full health.
Yeah, well, that's going to do some work.
Yeah, I mean, they pushed through that core really, really easily, and this one was just base selection more than anything. I didn't do anything special or need to really plan for anything other than getting that funnel down right, and
yeah,
it was all a pre-plan more than anything. I didn't really do anything on the fly there that I didn't expect. I dropped the point or the jump spell in such a way that I didn't open up the far right compartment, so I knew that they would kind of be stuck in that middle there. The queen would draw her a certain way. So,
yeah, and it did seem like the base was perfect. There was no splash damage on the west, I mean in the southwest, and in the northeast were no air defenses. So basically your queen walk just coasted over there, and all your witches could coast down the opposite side without too much interruption.
Yeah, for sure. The next one we're going to look at is pretty much as different as it can be with the exact same strategy. So we'll talk about different kinds of tips.
That's perfect. Let's get into that one. All right, guys, we're here on TT's second hit, and he's going to walk us through what was going through his mind when he was planning out this attack. TT?
Okay, so on the last one that we looked at, it was, you know, non-symmetrical. There was definitely an obvious way for me to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish in terms of the healers staying healthy and avoiding ADs, and the witches avoiding bomb towers and wizard towers and splash damage for the skeletons. This one's pretty symmetrical, and it doesn't really have that luxury. But there is a little bit of non-symmetry, and that's what I'm going to take advantage of.
Okay.
If you notice the ADs, ADs that cause a problem are the ones that are just far enough away from the outer wall that the queen can't get it, but also close enough to, as soon as the queen passes, they snipe the healers. Right. So if you look at the top side, that's exactly kind of what we have with those ADs. That far outer one is the queen can't reach it, and the AD would hit the healers. So I'm going to put my archer queen at 3 o'clock and walk her down towards 6. Okay. There is an AD right there, but the archer, or the queen is going to take out the one in the corner before it gets to the healers. The one that's in the core near the CC is the biggest problem. So for this base, I intentionally got my kill squad kind of moving towards that AD. My goal was to get the kill squad in, take out the Inferno and as much as they could. But instead of going towards the second Inferno like I generally do with this attack, I basically just left that Inferno in that back corner and just knew it would be the last thing to go down. But I knew if I could get the bowlers to take out the central AD right there, that my queen was going to be fine. I mean, if you look at that bottom side, there's nothing that is going to take my queen out. There's very few hit point damage down there. So I knew that she was going to turn that corner. And then not having that second Inferno on my kill squad, I thought that, you know, they were going to be able to push that far through. So essentially all I'm trying to do is get to that Inferno or that AD and let my queen take out the rest. Again, I set my funnel the same way. The first time that you encounter any splash damage on that left side from 12 to 9 is that wizard tower. And I see that the high hit point defenses right there are those elixir storages. So I kind of know that my witches are going to get struggled right there, and eventually they're going to peter out and they're not going to survive the raid as they did in the last video. But I pretty much am planning on my queen surviving so long as that my kill squad can get that AD. So if you want to go ahead and play it, we'll see how it plays out.
We'll watch it in action in 3, 2, 1, and play.
All right, so I set the funnel a little bit with the whiz right there, kind of what I was doing with the minions on the last one. There's a lot more defenses and defensive hit points up at the top than there is at the bottom. So like I said, I normally start my queen first. This time I didn't. It's one of the rare times because the queen just has a lot less to take out to set the funnel. So drop my giant or my jump spell. Golems coming in, bowlers are doing their thing. I generally like to rage extremely early. I've talked about this attack with a lot of different people that kind of try and do it. And most people ask me why I drop my rage so early. My best answer is trial and error. I've tried this attack many, many times, and I've found that the earlier you can get your rages down, the better. There's more bowlers in rage. The bowler bounces, you know, double the impact, double the damage. And by the time, if you're raging it too late, you've already lost too many bowlers and you're just not getting as much bang for your buck on your rages. So yeah, the kill squad gets to where I need it to go. The witches are dying where I thought they would die.
They are.
The triple mortar that was down there is just wrecked the rest of those bowlers. But at this point, I pretty much know it's over, but you know, the Inferno Tower scares me. Luckily, my healers are just totally safe. The fact that some of my kill squads survived really kind of made the final cleanup a little bit easier. Had I just had my queen and healers left, I still think it would go down, but it might not have been so guaranteed. So this is kind of exactly how I plan this to end. There's nothing really that gets in the way of the queen. Generally, this attack is better than the standard BoWi attack because your queen survives your raid. I haven't even used her ability yet, which is going to help ensure that I can, you know, finish this off with a 3-star. But the most important thing you're looking for in this attack is, you know, alleyways that'll keep that queen alive, the healers alive to keep the queen alive, and alleyways where you can get the most value out of your witch's bowler opposite funnel.
I would have been so worried right there with that Inferno Tower locking on. She had plenty of health. It's funny, the Inferno Tower just by itself with nothing hitting it really doesn't do very much damage. People think it's super, super powerful. It's really not. It can't, you know, be healed. So that's the problem. While other stuff is hitting your troops, you know, the heal is useless with the Inferno. So that's what makes it look like the Inferno is so super powerful. It's really not that powerful. The difference between a level 3 and a level 2 Inferno for this raid is
pretty, insignificant.
Okay.
Defensive levels in terms of archer towers and wizard towers and all that stuff is pretty insignificant. I know both of these were non-max Town Hall 10s, but some of the best base builders in the world, that's for sure. And really what I'm looking for is all the things that I've highlighted that make a base a good base for this strategy. In any given war, I might be up against 15, 16, 17, 18 Town Hall 10s, and I usually only find 2, maybe 3, sometimes 1 base that I like for this strategy. Sometimes that's a maxed out Town Hall 10 and it's their top Town Hall 10 in the war, but it honestly doesn't make a difference. It's all about layout.
It's all about the base design.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because I've heard you say you always want to be able to take 2 jumps and get to both Infernos, and this base was not that. So I'm glad that you explained that your goal was to actually get it to the Inferno and then to the air defense rather than getting it to the second Inferno tower, because that obviously wasn't going to happen just based on this design.
Yeah, that's definitely rare to not find a base that I like that involves jumping to both Infernos. They had really good base designs this war. It was a really, really tough war. We only had 3 10v10 triples in the war. We lost on a buzzer beater right at the end for our 4th 10v10, would have given us the win. So it was a brutal day for Elite Gaming, but we'll bounce back and we'll string off some wins here to finish out the season.
Well, like you said, you were playing one of the best clans in the CWL right now, so. Well, how are you liking it over in Elite Gaming? I miss, days of Bada Bing are no more, and I miss a bunch of you guys. You happy over here? Are things going well?
Things are going well. Everyone's, really nice and welcoming, and they really put a lot of effort into the wars, and it's a really great fit. I definitely miss all my body guys, and hopefully we'll be able to have a reunion someday and get back as many from the core as we can and rebuild a new clan, or even just bring back Bada Bing from the grave. But we just had a tough time juggling the time commitment with the fun, happy-go-lucky attitude that most people want when they're playing, a video game.
Yeah.
So, too many butting heads for too long, and it is what it is.
Wears out, right?
Yeah.
Well, you have some good people. You have Judo Sloth over here doing your recaps, and you have Kaya doing all your streams, which is pretty cool. Some good people, and I'm happy that you're doing well over here. I'm happy that you brought in a 6-pack at Town Hall 10. That's a pretty big deal as a Town Hall 10. So, happy
it was
for
my
you,
first one that I ever had in CWL, so I was
Crazy.
pretty hyped.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were happy with you as well.
Yeah, it made the loss that much worse.
Yeah,
Had I not 6-pack, we'd have lost by a few more, so it wouldn't have been as heartbreaking. But
and
yeah,
now
we
they're gonna
lost by 1 star, and we had the percentage advantage by like 1/10%. So it was as tight as a war could be.
Yeah, and now they're gonna watch this video and have to relive it all over again. So, but any last things you want to say before we say goodbye to everybody?
Thanks for having me. I'm always happy to do it, and anytime that you need some more tips on this strategy or different things to look out for, let me know and we can get on and talk about it.
Sounds great, man. It's always great having you on the channel. I appreciate it, and I know that all the fans of BoWitch, I have a lot of people on the channel that love the BoWitch strategy, rely on you for all the information since you are the main source. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and good luck to you with Elite Gaming and your whole CWL experience.
I appreciate it, and thanks for all that you've done for BBC and me personally over the last year that I've known you, and I look forward to doing more videos with you in the future.
It's gonna happen, man. But guys, thanks so much for coming down today. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me and TT here today. Hopefully you learned something and you can take this back to your clanmates and show them how to effectively implement BoWitch. It can be done. It can 6-pack in war. It was proved today. Thanks so much. I'll see all of you back here again tomorrow. Hit me up over on Twitter at @EchoThroughMe. Be good.